All of a sudden, the oil cooler down here where it mounts against the block is leaking and pissing all over the floor. So it goes through, I don't know, about a gallon of oil a week. And now I have to tear it all back down and fix it again. So Chevy, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. Hard.
How was it working as a mechanic in your younger days?
It was good and very rewarding. However, my body is now paying the price.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
Would you rather only work on Chevy or Ford?
Chevy.
Would you rather only work on Chevy or Ford?
Chevy.
Would you rather only work on Chevy or Ford?
Chevy.
Any reason why?
I don't like Ford.
Would you rather only work on Chevy or Ford?
I'd have to go with Chevy. Even though I like Cords, I don't like Ford.
Our series continues with the videos of mechanics absolutely just losing their minds, but this time it's about Chevy. Are these guys being dramatic, or is it just for the camera? Or is the bow tie brand really that big of a nightmare to work on? We're looking to see if this hate on Chevy is justified. So now we're going to separate the hard facts from the corporate bullshit according to the mechanics. Take a look at this.
Worst vehicles to buy. The worst vehicle you can buy is by far anything Chevy GMC related. Anything from that umbrella is straight caca boy land. I don't care what you say. 99% of arbitrations come from GMC Chevy, right? I just arbitrated a Chevy Silverado. I've returned 80% of the GMC Chevy products I buy. I buy them because you buy them. Customers love, they love Silverado. They love the terrain. They're bogus. Straight bogus city. I'm going to prove it to you 10 times out of 10. Every Chevy truck, every Chevy Tahoe has a bad transmission. They have become worse than Nissan. I'm trying to get a Tahoe from my lot. This is a 26 Tahoe with 124,000 miles. Good Carfax, nice car, right? Nice, right? God damn, for that price, oh my God, you can't beat it with a stick. Bang, bang, boo, announcements, transmission, straight back out, boo. Every Chevy has a bad tranny. It's inevitable. Worst vehicles to buy. The worst vehicle you...
And the funniest thing, when I was reading the comments, someone says, crazy talk, Nissan is by far the worst. We're going to touch on Nissan as well. Another one here says, no car maker is perfect. Literally every brand has defective car/truck. Look at Toyota right now. Their motors are blowing up. Yes, Toyota indeed is having a problem, but today it is Chevy. We're going to touch on most of the brands, not all the brands. There's probably over 150 brands out there, but let's start it slow. We have another 149 to go. Now, imagine a mechanic covered in grease, screaming at an engine, or when a dashboard just lights up like a Christmas tree with that reduced engine power warning. The comment sections are a complete war zone when that particular mechanic goes and shows all these issues, just like what this one is doing right now. His comment section is literally blowing up. Now, loyal owners, they like defending their trucks versus everyone else sharing their personal horror story. Therefore, what will it be? Is it just a few isolated incidents blowing up online, or is it just a real pattern of frustrating, time-sucking, and wallet-draining failures that make mechanics truly dread seeing a Chevy roll up into their garage?
So here we have our beloved Chevy Equinox. I'm sure you can't guess what it's in here for. Time and change. Anyways, another shop. Well, let me start at the beginning. A dealership sold them this car and told them that it needs VVTi solenoids. Okay, so they went and they got their VVTi solenoids done. Code still didn't go away. Still had a gnarly rattle. So the customer took it to the next shop, and the next shop said, just needs an oil change. The code will go away and the rattle will stop. They did an oil change. Rattle didn't stop. So then it landed here. I didn't even have to pull it in. And I said, it needs timing change. Customer didn't want to believe me. So I said, how about this? We will not charge you anything if I take apart this cover and there's nothing wrong with it. And I would say, I don't know, maybe it needs timing chain because the guide's broke, and there's a fucking piece of plastic wedged behind your chain.
You look closer to his video, he's literally crying because he's laughing at the customer. Everything you're seeing there is made of plastic, and this is just a disaster what the engineers are doing. Hence, the series is called How Engineers Make Mechanics Miserable.
Brand new truck only has 9,000 fucking miles. What a fucking shame. She gone. So on some of that Duramax now, or 6.7. That piece of shit has left the group chat.
And we made mention of the infamous reduced engine power. And that's what they actually call it, the Grim Reaper of Chevy dashboards. It's not just the truck trying to preserve itself. This is a truck actually giving up on life, just giving you enough power to crawl to the soft shoulder in a panic. And you want to know the cause of this catastrophic showdown? 9 times out of 10, it's the cheap garbage throttle body that gets a little dirty and decide that it's done its job. Or maybe it's a faulty accelerator pedal sensor, or just the shoddy wiring connecting everything. The signal drops for a millisecond and then the entire system just throws its hands up in the air and quit. It then becomes an electrical ghost hunt for the mechanic and a guaranteed roadside panic attack for the driver.
Why do they do this? I'm replacing this fuel pump. It's a Chevy truck, and they send you a new harness with the new fuel pump. Well, the wires are different. Gray is power, the 2 in the middle are for the sender level, that's the ground. Uh-oh, they're mixed up. So you're supposed to cut and splice these wires up here on the factory harness because, you know, they get messed up over time, they overheat, corrosion. You're supposed to replace them when you replace the fuel pump. So I gotta do some detective work here and make sure the old pump matches the new pump. That's why I got my multimeter out.
Well, I took the end off and depinned it. Now I got it wired right, it matches the truck. Don't copy this unless you know what you're doing and you're a pro like me.
Check your wiring before you just hook up new parts, guys. Later.
And this is why I refer mechanics as amongst the brightest. The things that they do to keep you safe or to get you out there on the road as much as possible, you have to give them credit where credit is due. Well, people sometimes highlight the bad ones, but they are more good than bad. And some people will only think that is just engine problems that Chevy gives. We also have to talk about the transmission because they come for that #1 spot of problems in Chevy. Owners of Silverados with the 8 and 10 speed automatic, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's called the Chevy shake. They say it feels exactly like when you're driving over rumble strips. And it's not just a minor annoyance, it's a sign of a total failure. It starts with a shudder and then it leads to slipping gears and then finally a completely broken transmission. We've seen forums packed with owners of 2024 models who are already dealing with this on trucks and they barely have any miles on them. And the best part, the replacement parts are on back order for months, leaving the owner stranding and the repair shop stuck in limbo. You call that durability, we call it a systemic failure.
Here I've got a 2011 Chevy Colorado that needs a timing chain job, but I'll tell you, GM engineers were not thinking nice thoughts toward mechanics when they made this engine. So just simply to get the valve cover off, you've got to remove the intake manifold that's over here. But in order to remove the intake manifold, you got to remove the alternator that goes right there. And you can't easily remove the alternator without removing the fan clutch and fan shroud. And there's your starter, by the way, underneath the intake. The compressor pulley overhangs the front cover by about 1/4 inch, so you got to remove the compressor to get the front cover off. On this engine, the oil pump is built into the front cover. In order to remove the oil pickup tube from the front cover so you can get the cover off, you've got to remove the oil pan. But you can't remove the oil pan without removing the entire rack and pinion steering gear. And the real kick in the gut is that this truck only has 42,000 miles on it. The new chain is in the front and the old one's in the back. Look how much the old chain has stretched compared to the new one.
Yep.
At only 42,000 miles. And I can't even finish this job because the VVT sprocket is on back order.
Now you're hearing for yourself, somehow the parts are always on back order and it's not the fault of the parts department. I hope you're picking up of what I'm trying to say to you so you can stay ahead of what the next big problem in the car world is should you want to go and buy a car. So hit that subscribe button. Let's keep exposing this type of stuff. Now, one of the big things about Chevy is the engine failure. This has been a massive issue backed by official recalls and federal probes. GM recalled hundreds of thousands of their flagship trucks and SUVs from 2021 to 2024. The Silverados, the Tahoes, the Suburbans, all with the 6.2-liter V8. The reason for this is simple. I strongly believe they were built to fail, with defects like debris left in the oil passage that cause a sudden destruction of the engine. But here's what they're not talking about. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they had to launch a new probe in early 2026 because the replacement engines, they were failing too. On top of that, the 5.3-liter V8, they have an infamous reputation for lifter failure, a problem we're seeing on models from 2014 all the way to 2026. And the very system designed to save a little fuel ends up eating the lifters and gutting the entire engine. You can't make this stuff up.
2021 Chevy Colorado 2.5, no power brakes, brake pedals hard. So they pull vacuum with a vacuum pump instead of using the engine vacuum like has been done for, who knows, since 1930. So they've got this vacuum pump, which locked up, broke the vacuum pump, damaged the camshaft. I don't have the valve cover off yet, but there's metal all in the top of the cylinder head, so the valve cover has to come off. Pull vacuum off the intake, you idiots.
Working on a 2017 Equinox today. What a shocker. This one's kind of weird. It's got 100,000 miles even on this car. And it came in for an oil leak. Rear main seal's leaking like a bitch on it. Just talked to the customer. They said, well, we just had rear main seal put in there about 10,000 miles ago at the dealership. Why would that be leaking again? I thought, well, either it's improperly installed or maybe you got something plugged up in your crankcase vent. That's just worse pushing it out. I don't know. So when I started doing some investigating on that, this is what I found. This is the crankcase vent. Full of fucking water and shit. And I've already pulled it off and let some of that drain out of there. I think condensation filled up that vent, plugged it up, pushed the fucking seal out. What do you think? It's me.
My question to you is, do you believe all the hate is justified looking at the evidence? Some of them do, but some not. I'm not going to hate on Chevy or beat up on them because I had a Chevy Cruze 2019 1.6-liter diesel. It served me well until all the lights on the dashboard came up. That's when I decided to get rid of it. So I'll give it maybe a 80-20 rule. You drive it until the wheels fall off and then you get rid of it. All this drama you're seeing isn't just for views. It's between the constant threat of reduced engine power from maybe a cheap sensor, a transmission that shake themselves to pieces, and engines that are literally designed to self-destruct. Working on some of these Chevy models, they are a complete nightmare for mechanics, and mechanics are sick of fighting losing battles that they were set up to lose from the factory. When you see the same parts failing across this many models and years, it's not bad luck, it's a systemic problem.
This message is for whoever created the 1.4-liter turbo Ecotec motor and the people at Chevrolet. The fuck is wrong with you, huh? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Because everyone knows, look, everyone knows. The valve covers leak. The intake manifolds go out because the PCV system gets clogged up. And the PCV line goes bad. And what's missing here is the turbo, because the turbo's over here. I already replaced the turbo. There's the cat, because we had to pull the cat off to be able to pull the turbo off. And we only have to pull the turbo off, although we replaced the turbo like 6 months ago. All of a sudden, the oil cooler down here where it mounts against the block is leaking and pissing all over the floor. So it goes through, I don't know, about a gallon of oil a week. And now I have to tear it all back down and fix it again. So Chevy, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. Hard. And I would love absolutely nothing more than to take this son of a bitch back to the dealership that my old lady got it from. But they did such a good job bending her over and fucking her without lube that guess what? We're like $8,000 upside down. Thanks, Chevy.
What's the worst Chevy repair you've ever dealt with? I want to hear it. Drop your story in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. The links are in the description box below. Stay sharp, stay educated, and I will see you in the next one.